Hello and welcome back to another episode of me fixing crash cars to get my dream car. So if you guys are new around here, this is the Pennies to Polestar series where I started out with this £800 Corsa, which I then sold and bought this 2014 Volvo V40. This car had a jammed passenger door which we fixed, and it also had a jammed passenger seatbelt which we also fixed. This car has now sold, which means we are on to the next project. All in all, with our end goal of reaching my dream car, which is a Volvo V60 Polestar. So that brings me on to the new car. Drum roll please, it's another Volvo. Shock! Now, to those eagle-eyed viewers, you will notice that this is actually a V60, the car that I want. This is just the 2-litre diesel D4 version. But also to our eagle-eyed viewers, you'll see that this has slightly more damage than the previous car. That's because this car hit a deer head-on at about 60 miles an hour. So this is the newest addition to the Pennies to Polestar series. The V40 has gone and this is here in its replacement. If you remember, the V40, I played it safe. It had no crash damage and it basically just had a bit of a dodgy door and a broken seatbelt. But this time, we're not playing it safe and we've gone all out. And to be honest, just looking at this car, it terrifies me at the thought of having to fix it. But somebody's got to. Elephant in the room, the front end, it's a bit knackered. On this side, anyway, if you come around onto this side, it's actually alright, it's fine. This is what it should look like, which is actually a really nice car. I love a V60. As we know, a V60 is what I'm aiming for in the end goal, but I just want the Polestar version. As we keep going around the car, you can literally see this car is actually immaculate. So it's 10 years old, but it's in such good condition, minus the fact that it needs a good clean, but that's not something that we're scared of after the last car, which I'm 99% sure is where coronavirus started. Not only is this car bloody gorgeous, it's also so practical. Look at the size of it in here. There's one thing that Volvos are good at, it's building a barge. Coming on the inside, how nice is it in here? It's very similar to the V40 in a sense that, well, it's exactly the same, to be honest, it's just a little bit bigger. But I love this interior so much. And can you believe no airbags have gone off? We've also got 8-speed automatic. Delicious. Maybe that's me showing my age, but I've really started to appreciate an automatic car. It's absolutely fully loaded. We've got navigation, Bluetooth, heated seats, air conditioning. It's got all the parking sensors. It's got lane assist, start, stop, and the whatever it is that measures your distance between other cars. I don't work for a Volvo dealership, don't come at me. Once again, outdone myself because pop the key in. She starts right up. Oh no, the SRS light has come on. Oh, that wasn't on earlier. The SRS airbag light is on, which is a pain in the arse because it was on the last one and it's so hard to get rid of the SRS airbag light on these. But it's fine because we've done it before and we can do it again. I mean, no lock, obviously that's going to be like that. But other than that, I think messages, belts and doors, that's because we've not got seatbelts on, dipped beam and SRS airbag. The car is telling us that there's a low battery charge, which sometimes can be a culprit as to why SRS airbags lights come on these cars. What we'll do is we'll take the battery off, charge it while we're waiting for parts, and then we'll see if that maybe fixes it. Is that wishful thinking? Probably. Right, so while we're here, before we get stuck into this car, I'm going to run through everything on the V40 which we sold this week and basically give you an idea of where we're at money-wise. Because a few of you have said, like, it's all well and good doing this, but is it actually making money? The answer is yes. We bought the Volvo V40 for £1,750. That was the winning bid. With all of the co-part fees and delivery included, that brought it up to £2,550.
straight away, it's not a great move because we bought that car from a Copart which was quite far away. So the delivery fee was about £450, which immediately I wouldn't usually go for, but the car was such like a good starting point that I kind of let it slide. The door that we fixed, that was completely free. That didn't cost me anything. And the seatbelt was £130. After that was all sorted, took it for an MOT and a service, which totaled £260, which brought the total up to £2,940. We then sold the car for £3,500, which is so cheap, considering that car had a retail value of about just over £4,000. That's including with the category write-off. So we sold it for £3,500, and I took quite a lot of money off the price just because the girl who was picking it up said she could literally take it there and then. I said, if you can get it out of my way, you can have it. So that brings us to the total profit being £560, which is obviously amazing. It's a plus because it's money made, but it wasn't as much as maybe what we could have gotten out of the car. But like I say, the convenience was we needed that car gone so that we could buy this one, so I was happy to let it go for that price. So for all of you that are asking, yes, you can make money doing this, and we're hoping with this car we'll make even more money than the last. One thing I will say which made me laugh as soon as I got in this car was the fact that there's an empty can of San Pellegrino and a large splash all up the dashboard, so I'm guessing whoever was driving the car when it hit a deer was enjoying a nice ice cold beverage, and now it's all over the dash.
So just before we go any further with this build, I just want to give a quick shout out to TOPDON, because they have helped me out massively by sending me out one of their diagnostic tools to use on this car and all of our future projects. I'm going to plug this into this car and we're going to see if anything comes up. Obviously, we're already aware that the SRS airbag light is on, but unfortunately, that is something which will require this module being taken out and cleared by someone professionally. But we can check a lot of data about this car on here, and we can also find out a lot more information. So this is the tool in question, which has full OBD2 functions. Not only that, but this tool is also compatible with 90 plus vehicles with no subscription fee. So as you can see here, I have downloaded the relevant car information, which is obviously Volvo. Here I can read the VIN number, and from that I can get information like engine codes and the year and the VIN and make sure that it's correct and matches with the car. This is also the system list, so this is all the things that you can check on your car. There is also the full maintenance section where you can check things like DPF, oil, ABS, all the important things to make sure your car is healthy. And for probably one of the most handy things is the DTC repair guide in the library section, where you can look up popular codes and how to fix. You can also check warning light library, so if you're a bit of a novice and you want to learn more, this is perfect. As you can see, it brings up the engine management code, a description, the impacts it might have, and what to do. Now, just to show you a little better of what this actual diagnostic tool is capable of, I've actually come and plugged it into my car, because the car down there, the battery is running low, so it's not reading correctly. So I thought, let's bring it into my car, because there's been something that's bugging me on this car for a while. And this diagnostic tool has just revealed to me what it might be. So my car has been cutting out, it's been very jittery when you accelerate quite hard. Straight away I was thinking, oh, it might be the turbo. Now I've just read some codes into the engine control module. 4 faults found, so let's read them. And lo and behold, what is the top one? Turbocharger, supercharger, turbine overspeed, general fault. So what we can do then is we can find that code and we can click that little search button, and what that is going to do is that's going to put that code into Google. So straight away it's going to start bringing up the exact code, overboost and hesitation, which is exactly what my car is doing. And that code, look, Volvo, there's the code, has come straight up, which is amazing. I mean, it's not amazing because my turbo's knackered, but It's amazing that it's found it that fast. The turbo underboost fault. This essentially means that the ECM is not seeing the boost that it would like to. So it kind of sounds like my turbo is on its way out. So as you can see, this is such a great little tool to have. I feel like anybody who is into their cars and is into working on their cars especially should have one of these. And this one is so reasonably priced for just how helpful and useful it is. So I'm going to leave this linked in my description down below. Please make sure you go and check it out. And thank you so much again to TOPDON for sending me this out to help me with all of my current and future projects.
So I'm going to start by taking off all of this tape, which I can only assume is holding in all of the headlight fragments, and then I feel like we'll be able to get a bit of a better idea of how bad it is.
So this car has actually been written off as a category S, which means that it's somewhere along the line it's had some structural damage. Now we don't know if this is just because of the wing or if underneath all of this crumpled mess there is going to be some bent chassis somewhere. Fingers crossed it's not, and from what we can see so far there only seems to be minor damage underneath.
Oh.
Yeah, that's... isn't it? We might be here a while. I'm really scared that I'm going to encounter like a deer eyeball at some point, or brains, because that's what it's hit. Hopefully there's no deer revenants, although Milo would have probably sniffed it out by now, so that's fine. No, I don't want to. I don't want to damage anything. That's
You don't want to damage anything. Look at the car.
God, it's never ending. It's just shit. So the Copart listing said that the bonnet does not open, which is hardly surprising given the state of it, but we are going to try and get it open. See maybe if it... Oh, that's just completely snapped. So I think we might have to just unbolt it somehow.
Go on. Go on.
Copart was right, the bonnet won't open.
But for us to make progress on this car, we need to get this bonnet open. So while I Google the best way to do it and gather some tools, bear with me.
Milo's jumped on me.
So it's actually about 3 or 4 days later. I've selfishly been spending the weekend in the Dominican Republic with work. So I have had the suitable amount of time to get this car in a position where it's ready to be sorted today. Good news. Watch this. We managed to actually, well, use our brain cells a little bit and realise that the bonnet latch was right there, so all we had to do was just pull that and it released it straight up, which was amazing because it saved a whole lot of ball ache. So today's plan of action is we're actually going to take all of this off, because later on today we've actually hired a van today, and later on we're going up to Leeds to go and pick a whole new front end up. So we need a full list of things that we need, because we might actually end up needing more than what we think. So we're going to pull the front bumper off, pull all the grills out, and get that, whatever is left of that headlight out. And I think from what I can see, if you come over here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Oops. You can't really see it from here, but there is damage to the windscreen washer bottle down there. And there's also some more damage that we've spotted since the last time. The windscreen is actually cracked down here, and obviously that won't pass an MOT with that like that. It's annoying because it's not really affecting the windscreen massively, but it will need to be changed if we want to get MOT on this car. But it's all well and good talking about MOTs, but realistically, that is a million miles away, and right now we need to get this front end stripped down. So out came the tools, and came a lot of pulling, a lot of snapping, and a multitude of swear words in the process. Before I start unplugging anything, because I do not want to be messing around with, I don't know, anything basically, anything electrical, I hate it. So we're going to take the battery off just so while we're unplugging this mess. So now that the bumper's off, we can kind of gauge more of the damage, but I'm just going to take as much off as what I possibly can. Like this panel here can just come off. going to try and get the headlight out, or whatever's left of it, and we can further assess for damage. Oh my God. God, I'm such a girl. Cut that out. This car is without a doubt probably the biggest risk I've taken so far. It's certainly not an easy task, but it's also going to hopefully reap us some rewards. If we want to reach my goal of getting the V60 Polestar, then we've got to spend money to make money, and we've got to take some risks. Luckily for me, as I was stripping down this front end, I noticed that the Category S wasn't as severe as what we perhaps thought. The structural damage was actually incredibly minor, and it actually only meant bending a couple of bits of metal back into place so that the new front end will fit on correctly. This is an absolute mission. I thought this was only a tiny piece. It's 90% of the front end. So for the size of that, I thought this was literally such a minor piece. Weighs a ton as well. Jesus Christ. That's good, isn't it? That's not even damaged. That's the fog light. Or like the daytime running light, whatever it is. So you could sell that. We're making money. Washer bottle has taken full damage from the deer. So this needs to come out. We need to get a new one. I think, to be honest, I think most of the clips have just broke. So I think it's just that little one up there. The washer bottle was actually something that we never realised we would even need, and it's all part of the parcel. Sometimes you don't realise what you need until you start taking other things off and you see the real extent of some of the damage. But things do really start to come together once you can take all of these crash damaged parts off. So as soon as this bonnet came off, the car actually started to look better, even though it was in worse condition. But that's just because all the bent parts are off. Right, I'm going to take the wing off now, because it's basically just one big jigsaw puzzle, isn't it? You can't get certain things off without getting other things off. And this wing most definitely needs replacing, but if you come around to this side, this wing is actually okay, but I think what's happened is when the bonnet is crumpled, it's pushed this corner up. So we're going to see if we can salvage this wing and maybe just push that back into place, because to be honest, it feels like a clip's just broken and it should clip back in. So that one's okay. We have got another wing coming, but it needs to come from Leeds. One wing off, 5 million stupidly placed bolts later. So this is where we're currently at with this situation. So obviously we've got the intercooler, we've got the aircon, we've got the radiator. As you can see, it has taken a hit. Now, when you get in the car, immediately I look at that and I think that needs replacing. When you get in the car, the aircon works beautifully, and I mean, it's icy cold. So it is a bit of a faff getting this done, because we don't necessarily have the tools to get the aircon, you know, the gas released, and obviously flushing the coolant system and getting everything that. I just don't have the tools and the resources to do that at the minute. So I'm willing to take a risk, in a sense that I'm willing to leave this as it is. We're going to put the front end on, and once the car is in a state where it can be driven, when it's taxed and everything, I'm going to take it for a long drive. If it overheats or stops working for any reason, then these will be replaced. And I know everybody is going to be screaming at me in the comments saying, you need to replace that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, in fact, just give me the abuse, because you're going to do it anyway. So I think the last thing that needs taken off, that is broken and needs replacing, and is something that we need to get off this car later on today, is we need to take the airbox off, because as you can see, it's all cracked here and it's all cracked at the bottom. And that is not going to provide any air filtering, that's for sure. So we're going to take this off, and I'll also order a new air filter, and we can pop that in when we get the parts off the car later on. Luckily for us, the car that we got all of these parts off from later on in the day was actually exactly the same engine, so we could just take everything off and put them onto our car. I don't think that's much use, is it? Now for the fun part with a hammer. So, as I mentioned, the car did sustain some structural damage. However, this was incredibly minor and mostly consisted of just a little bit of bent metal. All we had to do was tap the metal back into place so that all the bolts and the wing will realign correctly. It's the little boy called Milo. Hi, pal. Can everyone show your teeth? Oh, they are the best teeth in the world. So the last thing that we're taking off is the brackets for the bonnet, because they might look fine, but it's 99.9% chance that they are slightly bent, which is going to make the bonnet fit weird. So we're going to get some new ones along with the new bonnet today. And this is the last little bit that we're going to take off. Now, if you come round to the front, so it's my job on my own tomorrow to put this whole new front end on, and I have a memory like a sieve, like it's so bad. So we have labelled everything, so I have no excuse to not know where stuff goes. Lewis has even written me like little symbols and then put the symbols on there. And I've even used the Corsair as a little whiteboard and written myself a full list in the order that I need to do it, just so I don't forget and do it in the wrong order, because it's something that I would do. Broken pieces are off, and this is what it looks like. So we are officially where we can possibly get to for today without getting that new front end, which is our next job, and we're going over there tonight. Catch up with you tomorrow when I have acquired the front end of a Volvo V60. One very long-winded and uncomfortable drive in a transit van later, and we had acquired a full front end. So this is everything that we need. We've got a bumper, we've got a crash bar, we've got a headlight, we've got the slam panel, a new airbox, a washer fluid bottle, and a bonnet. So that is all of the pieces that we've basically taken off today, and we have all of the correct parts. So now it's just a case of putting the big jigsaw puzzle piece back together.